Cardi B set the internet on fire after posting a new set of photos featuring herself, her newborn son, whom fans have lovingly nicknamed Baby Brim, and Stefon Diggs. And within minutes, eagle-eyed followers began pointing out a detail that completely shifted the conversation. A ring sitting confidently on her left hand that nobody remembers seeing before. The pictures were warm, intimate, and looked like snapshots from a peaceful moment in Cardi's life, showing her holding her baby while Stefon leaned in close, creating a family-focused atmosphere that fans haven't seen from her in a long time. What really fueled the speculation was the overall vibe of the post. Cardi looked genuinely happy, calm, and settled, and the ring, positioned exactly where an engagement ring would be, instantly triggered a storm of theories. The caption itself didn't say anything about marriage or a proposal, but, as fans always do, they began zooming, screenshotting, and comparing older photos to confirm whether the ring was new or something she had worn before. Things escalated even further once Stefon entered the comments section and left a message that people began analyzing like a coded announcement. He wrote, "Proud of you, boo, but love you," which fans split into two camps. Those who thought it was a sweet, simple message from someone deeply involved in Cardi's life, and those who turned the wording into a full debate, questioning whether the phrasing hinted at deeper emotions or careful wording during a very public time in their relationship. Cardi's reply only added more momentum to the online frenzy because she responded, "I love you more. Thank you for my handsome son. Love y'all so much," which many took as her making their bond official in the public eye, confirming the emotional connection between them without having to spell out anything directly. But what really sent things spiraling into theory mode were the fans who began examining every pixel of the uploaded photos, pointing out that Cardi was wearing a ring specifically on her left ring finger, the one traditionally used for engagements. This detail, paired with the soft, loving tone of the pictures and Stefon's public comment, immediately sparked timelines filled with questions like, did he propose after the baby was born? And is this Cardi's way of showing us something big without saying it? The theory that picked up the most traction online was that Stefon may have proposed shortly after the birth, with fans arguing that the emotional, life-changing moment makes it a meaningful and intimate time to ask such a question. And because Cardi and Stefon have kept many details of their relationship private, people felt even more confident that a private proposal would fit their pattern of sharing only what they want to share. As all this excitement built up, another side of the internet stepped forward with a much more cautious attitude, pointing out that while the ring is beautiful, it's not as flashy or oversized as people expect from an NFL superstar proposing to a global music icon. Some fans argue that if this were truly an engagement ring, it would likely be a larger, custom-designed piece that is impossible to miss, leading them to believe this could just be a personal piece of jewelry that fans are overanalyzing. Others countered that not all engagement rings need to be massive, and some couples prefer meaningful, sentimental pieces that aren't designed purely for spectacle. But beyond the ring's size discussion, a more divided debate emerged about the pace of Cardi and Stefon's relationship, with some people celebrating the idea that Cardi has found stability and affection during such a meaningful chapter of her life, and others questioning whether the relationship is moving too fast simply because the public is watching it unfold during a time filled with emotional changes. Many fans urged others to be patient, reminding them that Cardi has always done things on her own timeline and that the public only sees a fraction of what's really happening behind closed doors. Still, the engagement rumor had completely taken over social media feeds, with fan pages, gossip blogs, and even casual users breaking down each photo, comment, and detail like detectives searching for clues. All of this set the stage for a massive conversation about what Cardi shared, what she didn't say directly, and what the ring, the photos, and the comments might actually mean for her new chapter with Stefon.
As the conversations grew louder, fans began diving deeper into the meaning behind each photo. And that's when the real wave of theories started forming, especially around the way Cardi and Stefon interacted both in the pictures and in the comments. Multiple fan accounts pointed out that the energy between them looked noticeably different, more settled, more connected, and more intentional compared to how Cardi's previous relationships appeared publicly. And this alone pushed many people to believe something major had shifted in her personal life. When Cardi posted these family-focused photos, it wasn't just a casual upload. It marked the first time she showed Stefon and the baby together in the same frame, and that visual alone made people feel like she was quietly revealing the structure of her new family dynamic. But the biggest spark came from the idea that Stefon might have proposed shortly after the birth, a theory that fans supported by pointing out how emotional and meaningful that timing would be. They argued that welcoming a newborn can be transformative for any couple, and if Stefon chose that moment to take the next step, it would signal a level of commitment that people have been hoping Cardi would finally receive. Some commenters praised the possibility, saying that Cardi deserves stability and emotional support after such a long, complicated public history with Offset, and they're excited to see her entering a chapter that looks healthier and more grounded. Others, though, continued to question the pace, wondering if the internet is simply projecting a fairy tale moment because the photos were soft and loving, even though no official announcement has been made. Meanwhile, discussion about the ring kept intensifying, with screenshots circulating that highlighted how Cardi held her hand in certain photos, making the ring more visible. People began debating whether the style of the ring matched her previous jewelry, whether it looked new, and whether the choice of that specific finger was intentional or just a coincidence. Some fans insisted that when a woman posts photos with a ring on her engagement finger, especially right after giving birth, it means something, while others argued that Cardi is known for wearing all types of rings and that fans may be reading too much into simple details. Despite the excitement, a more cautious side of the fandom emerged, sharing reminders to not jump to conclusions and pointing out that public perception doesn't always reflect the real dynamics between two people. They noted that Cardi has always made big announcements in her own way, and she wouldn't let a major life update slip through casually unless she intended it. Still, the discussion took a more layered turn when people began comparing the calmness of Cardi's new posts to the chaos that surrounded her for months during the end of her marriage. Many fans said they were happy to see her looking peaceful, emphasizing that whatever is happening behind the scenes seems to be creating a healthier environment for her and her children. Others speculated about how carefully Cardi appears to be curating her new image, showing her life with Stefon in a softer, more private way, very different from how her past relationship unfolded in the public eye. This contrast led to a wave of commentary about how much Cardi's approach to love and family may have evolved over the years, with some fans expressing that she seems older, more mature, and more intentional about who she lets into her inner circle. But not everyone was ready to accept the idea of a perfect love story forming instantly. Some fan discussions began referencing things they've heard online about Stefon's dating life before Cardi, but even those conversations stayed speculative, with people reminding each other that they don't know these individuals personally and should avoid assuming what happens behind closed doors. Others argued that people change, and whatever happened in the past doesn't define the present, especially when a newborn and a new family dynamic are involved. The overall mood of this side of the conversation was more hopeful, with people encouraging Cardi to follow her heart at her own pace while acknowledging that she has always shown a pattern of making her own decisions regardless of public opinion. Still, the debate about whether the ring symbolized something official kept dominating the narrative, with fans becoming increasingly invested in decoding every clue. And as the engagement rumors gained traction, people on social media began shifting their focus toward how Cardi herself seemed to be subtly framing this new chapter, from the way she posed with Stefon to the affectionate tone of her comments, leaving everyone wondering whether this was her quiet way of announcing something major without having to spell it out yet.
As the engagement discussion kept trending, the conversation naturally shifted toward how this new chapter with Stefon fits into the larger picture of Cardi's life, especially considering everything happening with Offset in the background. Fans couldn't help comparing the peaceful tone of her recent posts with the long stretch of public tension that surrounded her previous relationship. And this contrast became a major talking point, with many people saying that Cardi finally looks like she's in a space that feels calmer, more organized, and more aligned with what she's been wanting for herself and her family. At the same time, some followers pointed out that Offset's online presence recently has been chaotic and unpredictable, which only amplified the emotional impact of Cardi's quiet, intimate photos with Stefon and the baby. People took this contrast as a sign that Cardi is fully moving forward, focusing on her new family dynamic instead of being pulled back into old drama. Meanwhile, Stefon's overall behavior online, liking posts, leaving supportive comments, staying consistent with his tone, became part of the fan analysis, with many people noting that he appears steady, present, and publicly respectful toward Cardi, which encouraged a wave of positivity. But even with all the optimistic takes, there remained a vocal group of fans encouraging Cardi to take her time and protect her peace, especially since new motherhood can be emotional and overwhelming. These fans argued that while the photos and the ring may hint at something deeper, it's also possible that Cardi is simply choosing to highlight the people who are supporting her during this transition, without necessarily trying to send any symbolic message. They emphasize that the public only sees snippets of her life, and that assumptions, whether positive or negative, shouldn't be treated as facts. Still, the possibility of an engagement became a magnet for speculation, with people debating everything from ring styles to timing to whether Cardi was soft-launching an announcement. Fan pages started posting side-by-side comparisons of her jewelry from past years, trying to determine if the ring was new. Others pulled up old interviews where Cardi talked about what she values in relationships to see if any of her words aligned with her current moment. The more fans analyzed, the more theories emerged, ranging from she's already engaged to she's intentionally teasing something to she's just living her life and people are reaching. But the one thing almost everyone agreed on was that Cardi looked genuinely happy and emotionally grounded in the new photos, something her supporters have been hoping to see from her for a long time. Meanwhile, discussions about Stefon's role in her life also remained active, with some fans expressing hope that this relationship is bringing her the stability and emotional support she's been craving after a complicated period. They pointed out that it's not uncommon for couples to grow closer after welcoming a baby, and if the ring does represent something meaningful, it could simply be a sign of the direction their bond is naturally moving toward. Others remained more cautious, noting that new relationships, especially public ones, can be hard to interpret from the outside, and what matters most is how Cardi feels, not what fans assume. Throughout all of this, the speculation only intensified because Cardi herself didn't clarify anything. She didn't confirm or deny the engagement rumor, didn't address the ring directly, and didn't comment on any of the fan theories. And that silence made the whole situation even more fascinating for the internet. People started arguing that Cardi has mastered the art of letting fans create their own narrative while she quietly lives her life, dropping subtle hints without making formal announcements. The fact that she posted the first family photo with Stefon and the baby right before fans noticed the ring only added to the sense that she knows exactly how the internet works and how to control her story without saying a single direct word. By the time the rumor reached peak traction, it became clear that this wasn't just about a ring. It was about the emotional shift fans felt from Cardi. The sense that she has entered a new chapter, filled with new priorities, new energy, and possibly even new promises. Whether the ring is an engagement ring, a meaningful gift, or just a piece of jewelry she happened to be wearing, the reaction showed how invested people are in her happiness. And until Cardi chooses to confirm anything, all the public can do is watch closely, keep refreshing her posts, and wait to see what she reveals next about her evolving story with Stefon and the life she's clearly building around her growing family.